there's a market for that, I'm sure.
All right, so what do you think it's worth?
Rick Harrison has seen just about everything walk through the doors of the gold and silver pawn shop, but sometimes even he pulls out offers no one saw coming, whether he was throwing down stacks of cash for a once-in-a-lifetime treasure or making a risky move that left everyone in the room stunned. These deals were anything but ordinary. It all starts with a phone call. A customer rings up the pawn shop claiming he's got something special, an old-school broom-handle Mauser pistol. Now, if you know Rick, you know historical weapons are like catnip to him. The moment the guy mentions he's even willing to test fire, Rick is all in. No hesitation. This isn't just another antique. This could be a battlefield legend. So, what does Rick do? He doesn't wait around. He sets up a meet, at a firing range no less. Because if this piece is going to live up to the hype, it's going to have to prove it can still bark like it did over 100 years ago.
Broom handle Mauser, right? Do you mind?
Oh, please, check it out.
It's been a long time since I've seen one of these. Pop open and
There it is.
there we go.
Then, boom, the gun is finally revealed, and wow, does it look like it has a story to tell. One glance and you can practically feel the war dust on it. It's got scratches, wear, and the whole rugged look of something that's seen a trench or two, but don't get it twisted. It's still rock solid. The seller drops a jaw dropper. The Mauser doubles as both a pistol and a rifle. Say what? That's not just rare, that's collectible gold. You can already feel the price tag creeping up before Rick even touches his wallet.
The 1890s was a big deal, but the amazing part is you have this. It transforms from a holster to a stock. Most of the guys threw these away.
And sure enough, the seller goes bold. He throws down a monster number, $9,000. That's not pocket change, it's a whole paycheck, or 3. Rick is visibly stunned. But hey, a rare weapon in working condition from over a century ago? That kind of history can bring the big bucks. Still, Rick isn't just going to throw money at it. He knows the value hinges on one key thing: the year. Antique status is everything. If this beauty was born in 1898, it's just old. But 1897? Now that makes it legally antique, and possibly worth every penny.
Looked up the serial number and figured out the year on it.
I tried to work on that, and from the best that I can tell, it's going to be somewhere around 1897.
So what does Rick do? He calls in backup, a weapons expert, ready to dissect every detail of this mysterious Mauser. The second the expert lays eyes on it, his face lights up. This isn't just rare, it's iconic. He confirms that German officers used this exact model deep into World War II. And even more shocking, it's still in remarkable shape. Suddenly, that $9,000 price tag doesn't seem so crazy. But the real verdict is still hanging. What year is it really from?
This was not the first semi-automatic pistol ever produced, but it was the one that was the most successful.
Things get really interesting once the expert steps in to examine the broom handle Mauser pistol. He's immediately intrigued, pointing out just how rare it is to find one of these in such good shape. He shares that while this model wasn't the first pistol of its kind, it was the only version to actually succeed and gain real traction. In fact, German officers used this exact model all the way into World War II. That kind of history doesn't just make it collectible, it makes it priceless to the right buyer.
You can see right here somebody stamped in a serial number, 11073, right. So now this is good news. So the 11,000 series, that means it's 1897.
Next comes the moment of truth. The expert wraps up his historical breakdown and turns his attention to the most important detail: the serial number. That's what Rick was most concerned about. After checking it carefully, the expert confirms something huge. Because the number starts with 11, it means the gun is part of the 11,000 series, which was manufactured in 1897. That officially makes it an antique. With that settled, there's just one thing left to do: test it out and see if the gun can still fire.
Okay.
All right.
So, eyes and ears.
Just so you know, he's probably not going to hit anything.
That's not true. Ready?
Now we understand why Rick insisted they meet at a firing range. It's time to put the gun to the test. The expert loads it up and Rick jokes that he'll probably miss the target. But to everyone's surprise, especially Rick's, the expert nails not just one, but 2 targets in quick succession. That definitely proves the Mauser pistol is still operational. The gun might be over a century old, but it still fires like a dream. Now that it's confirmed to be functional, it's time to figure out its true market value.
Serial number, antique, so you can buy it, which opens up a different market of collectors because there's a lot of guys who don't want to deal with something that's legally a firearm.
This is the part everyone's been waiting for, the expert's valuation. After testing and verifying the condition, the expert declares that the broom handle Mauser pistol is in nearly perfect shape. He also points out how rare it is to find one from the 1897 production run. Because of that, he estimates the gun's worth at a solid $7,000. The seller lights up with that number. It's definitely music to his ears. Now it's all on Rick to decide whether he's going to pay full price or make a counteroffer.
These are not hard to find once they're past 1898. Finding a pre-1898 one is very difficult to find. I think it's at least $7,000.
You just knew a price battle was coming. Once the expert exits, Rick jumps straight into negotiating. He shuts down the original $9,000 ask, saying that number is no longer on the table. The seller makes a counteroffer and asks for $6,000 instead. But Rick isn't biting. He makes it clear that $6,000 is still too high for him. The negotiation picks up steam, and you can feel the tension. Rick knows what the gun is worth, but he's also trying to get it for the best price possible. Will they find a middle ground?
So, the 9,000 is not going to happen.
All right, what can we do?
I'll give you $4,000 for it. I mean, I'm not getting rich off you.
About $6,000.
That was slick. Rick, the master bargainer, manages to steer the conversation just right. It almost looked like the deal might fall apart, but then he tossed out $4,000 as his offer. The seller pushes back, asking if Rick can do a bit better. After a little back and forth, they finally meet in the middle and shake hands on $4,400. All things considered, that's a pretty sweet deal for such a rare piece of history. Now let's see what other treasures walk through the door at the pawn shop.
So what do you got here?
It's a dinosaur hand.
Wow, this is the first time I've seen a hand in worse condition than yours. Pretty rough.
Let's be real. Pawn Stars has seen its fair share of strange, but this is next level bizarre. A woman walks into the shop like she's got the usual trinket or heirloom, and then boom, she drops a prehistoric bombshell. "I've got a dinosaur hand," she says. And just like that, time stops. Rick and Chumlee freeze mid-conversation. You can practically hear the record scratch. A dinosaur hand? Even for Vegas, that's insane. Rick's trying to stay cool, but you can tell his brain is doing somersaults. Chum's eyes light up like a kid on Christmas morning. One thing's for sure, this isn't just another day behind the counter.
He used to be a caregiver, so I got it from one of the guys that I was taking care of. He used to collect bone.
As expected, Chumlee can't resist turning the moment into a comedy show. He always manages to crack a joke, even in the weirdest situations. The lady explains that she used to work as a caregiver, and one of the people she looked after was a bone collector. According to her, he never told her which dinosaur the bones belonged to, he just handed them over. Of course, Chum claims he knows for a fact that the bones are real. Rick shoots him a look and asks how he's so sure, and Chum simply replies, "Because I'm a professional." Classic Chumlee.
Old, but how much do you want for the dinosaur bones?
I was hoping to get $1,500 out of it.
Now here's where things spin into uncharted territory. Rick, the guy who always calls in an expert before laying down cash, suddenly switches it up. With his go-to bone expert out in the field, Rick decides to roll the dice. He asks the woman what she wants for it. She says $1,500. Rick thinks it over, his inner calculator on fire. Then he makes a bold move. $1,000. No expert, no confirmation, just gut instinct. She agrees. Deal done. But let's be honest, Rick just bought a mystery hand for $1,000. It could be gold or a $1,000 mistake.
Andre, what's up? It's Chumlee.
What's happening, Chumlee? How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I just been using, some tips you gave me to put together this dinosaur hand we got.
Now the panic sets in. Rick and Chum drag the bones into the back room and try to piece together what the heck they just bought. They arrange bones like it's prehistoric Lego, but nothing makes sense. It's just a pile of confusion. So they cave. They call the expert. When he hears what Rick did, he's dumbfounded. "You bought what? Without me?" The expert's not even mad. He's worried. This isn't a rare coin or a Civil War sword. This is uncharted fossil territory. The expert makes them an offer. Come down to the museum where he works. If there's any place to get answers, it's there.
Swamped at the lab. We've got a ton of projects in there. Is there any chance you could come to Texas and visit the lab?
I'm free.
You know what? Why don't you guys bring it to the museum?
At this point, Rick and Chum are fully committed, whether they like it or not. The expert, still out on fieldwork, gives them a surprising suggestion. Instead of waiting for him to return, he invites them to visit him at the museum where he works. There, he can examine the bones properly, and they can also use the chance to learn a thing or two. Rick thinks it over for a second, but Chum is already imagining himself packing a bag and heading out. It's adventure time, bone hunting style.
Welcome to my museum and lab. This is where we do all the amazing stuff putting the fossils together that we find in the field. The majority of this is from Texas.
Soon enough, Rick and Chum arrive at the museum and they're instantly impressed. The expert welcomes them and takes them through a massive collection of dinosaur bone fragments. It's way more than either of them expected. Rows and rows of ancient fossils, all carefully preserved. It's clear this guy is the real deal. And judging by how much he has on display, he's probably making a killing from museum visits alone. But they're not here for a tour. It's time to find out if Rick's gamble on the mystery bones was actually a smart move.
Saw it in the video when you guys called. You've got at least part of a hand, but not dinosaur. Looking at the shape, this is important right here. This is what we call a diagnostic fossil.
Well, that wasn't what anyone expected. As soon as the expert sees the bones, he breaks the bad news that it's not a dinosaur hand. In fact, it's not even from the dinosaur era. He quickly explains that the shape and size of the bones don't match anything from a dinosaur. Instead, he says the bones belong to a Permian animal, something that lived millions of years before dinosaurs ever roamed the earth. Rick and Chum are completely lost at this point. Permian animal? They ask, eyebrows raised. This just got a whole lot weirder.
Bought it for $1,000, so what is a hand like that worth?
If I was selling this piece, $5,000.
All right, sweet. It sounds like I made a good deal on it.
Despite the initial confusion, things start looking up. The expert explains that even though it's not from a dinosaur, it's still a valuable piece of prehistoric history. Rick asks what it might sell for, especially since he spent $1,000 on it. The expert's answer shocks them both. He says that, in today's market, this set of bones could easily go for around $5,000. That's a huge win. Rick is thrilled, and now he's eager to find more bones. That $1,000 risk just turned into a major profit opportunity, and the digging fever officially kicks in.
We're gonna have to take a closer look. So the first thing we need to do is basically get our eyes adjusted to the fossils we're looking for.
You can already tell where this is going. Rick and Chum are off on another wild adventure, this time digging in the mountains for more Permian animal bones. They team up with the expert who shows them what bone textures and colors to look for, because without his help, they wouldn't even know where to begin. It's clear they're in for a long day of exploration. They might not be trained paleontologists, but they're sure going to try their luck. One thing is certain, this won't be your average day at the pawn shop.
Andre,
What do you got?
I think I see a bite mark on this.
Dude, big rib section. Yeah, that's clearly a bite mark on it.
Chum is absolutely in his element. While Rick approaches the dig like a business venture, Chum's having the time of his life. He's way more excited about the adventure than the money, or at least that's what he says. During the dig, Rick ends up finding some teeth, but unfortunately, they aren't worth much. Chum, on the other hand, scores a set of bones that the expert estimates to be worth $300. He plays it cool, but you just know he's going to be back. This isn't just fun for him, it's also pretty profitable.
I got this really cool pistol that I'd like to see if I can sell.
All right, it's cute.
Thank you.
Okay, do you mind if I take a look at it?
Yeah, go ahead.
If we are to be real for a second, this little pistol looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale or a fantasy movie. Even Corey couldn't help himself. He straight up called it a girl gun. This guy walks into the shop claiming he's got a rare Civil War era pistol. According to him, he and his dad were cleaning out some old boxes when they stumbled across it. He doesn't want to keep it collecting dust, so now he's here to see what kind of cash he can pull in.
Know much about it?
No, I tried to do a little research. I found that it was from the Civil War era.
Okay, so most Derringers that I've seen have two barrels on top of each other that shoot independently.
Yo, $4,000 for that little gun? I do not think that is going to happen. Corey talks about the gun a little, and from all he said, the gun was actually used in the Civil War. Corey then goes on to ask the customer how much he wanted for the gun, and he said he was looking to get $4,000 for the gun. This is the first time Corey is seeing a pistol like this, and he actually has no idea what the gun is worth or if he can even sell it. Who would have ever thought that this day would come? In a way, it's actually hilarious.
Do you mind if I call a buddy of mine to have him come down and take a look at it?
No, that'd be great. I'd love to learn more.
All right, well, do me a favor, look around, hang out. I'll be back in a few, okay?
Thanks, man.
Alright, let's keep hope alive. At least that's what this guy is doing. Corey, knowing he's out of his depth on this one, tells the customer to hang tight while he gets one of his trusted experts to take a look. While the guy browses around the store, you can tell he's secretly hoping the expert will say this thing is worth some insane amount like $5,000. Hey, we've seen stranger things happen, but this one's going to be a stretch. This customer came with the hopes of making some serious money, and he is not leaving if he doesn't get it.
So this is a Marston, people say Select Fire Derringer. This is a really cool little multi-barreled pistol.
I think it's safe to say that Corey was not wrong when he said that the gun was a lady's gun and that ladies actually had the gun concealed down in their stocking. It's a pretty good place to hide a gun if you ask me. The expert explains that the gun could fire just 3 rounds, and it was usually used for close range and close combat. Let's see if there's more to this gun than meets the eye. I personally feel like it's those types of guns that would go for an insane amount of money, but let's leave the expert to be the judge of that.
What's interesting is inside there's a series of little hands and levers and cogs that is reminiscent of sort of like a steampunk design.
Haha, I can't be the only one who saw the excitement on the customer's face. He smiled like Santa was about to hand him some candy. The expert opens up the gun and he explains how the gun is able to load 3 bullets into the firing pin. Corey then asks him what he thinks the gun is worth, and he says that the gun could be worth up to $2,000 if it actually works. I guess the next line of action now is to determine if the gun actually works.
Gonna shoot this thing today?
We are gonna fire it. I searched my own closet and I found a really old box of 32 rimfire.
Wow, I can't believe that he just said that those bullets are over 80 years old. Are they going to fire? Looks like we are about to find out. Corey, the expert, and the guy who brought in the gun are at the firing range, and they are about to see if the gun works at all. The expert was about to bring some old bullets he has had in his collection for a while, and he is ready to fire them hard.
I used to do as a kid. Figured like it's a Western saloon gun, so may as well shoot some bottles.
Sounds good to me. Let's give it a shot. No
Okay.
pun intended.
He definitely felt like a cowboy while firing those rounds. The gun might be small, but it sure packs quite a ton of force. That explains why it was used in the Civil War. The expert loaded his old bullets into the pistol and fired the bullets at 3 different bottles. Guess what? They all went kaboom! Well, the expert has been able to show that the gun works. Let's see how much the expert is going to put the price at, since the gun works just fine.
I think it works great.
So, what do you think it's worth?
You're looking at a 160-year-old, delicate, 3-barreled pistol.
Looks like the price remains the same. The customer's dream of getting $4,000 for the gun is definitely off the table. Seeing that the gun worked pretty well, Corey asked the expert where he would fix the price for the gun, and he said, given the fact that the gun is a 160-year-old delicate 3-barrel pistol and it fired well, he would still leave the price at $2,000. It's negotiation time, people.
You heard Alex. He said it would retail for $2,000. I'd have to at least double my money on it, and the problem is there's so many of these types of guns out there.
That was kind of unexpected. I honestly thought Corey would be very interested in having the gun. Now, after the customer placed the price at $2,000, Corey offered the customer $800. He said that he would have to double his money on the gun, and there are so many types of the gun out in the market, and it's not hard to find. The customer asked Corey for $1,250, and Corey sticks to $800.
$800, man.
Ah, man, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. You know, now that I know it shoots, Dad gave it to me. If 800's as good as it's gonna be, I think I'll just keep it.